Welcome to the Forsyth Magazines podcast. I'm Brooke Eagle, your host, bringing you the stories of the people shaping our community. From business owners to local leaders, we'll explore their journeys, passions, and lessons learned. Let's dive in. Hey guys, I have two very special guests here today from Legacy Stables and Events. I have Margaret, the Vice President of Operations, and Caitlynn, the Director of Weddings and Social Events. Hi, ladies.
Hi.
How's it going?
Wonderful. How are you today?
I'm good. I am so excited to have y'all on the podcast. Legacy is the most gorgeous venue I've ever seen. Oh my gosh. I just love going there for events. And I am super thrilled that we are having our Women on the Move conference there this year. We could not be more excited about it. And we're just happy to work with y'all.
Well, and we're excited to have you as well for your first, and it's not your first annual event, but your first time here at Legacy.
That's
so
right.
We're very excited to be hosting your event.
Yeah. So Legacy Stables and Events, I want to do a brief history of it because you guys have done a lot of things.
We have.
Yeah.
Mr. Wiesner bought 30 acres for his granddaughters back in 2014. He wanted to spend more time with them in his retired life, so he bought a barn. Built a barn, remodeled a barn, and so then they trained world champion saddlebred horses. And at its peak, it had 85 horses on the farm.
Wow.
So then people said, oh, how beautiful this place is, and that's when barn weddings were becoming the thing. And in 2018, I came to work for him, and we started converting the Grace Barn for the first time. So we converted sawdust to beautiful pavers and beautiful ballrooms and started that barn in 2018, and still had 50-some head of horses, and so we were still not training horses, but doing riding lessons between 500 and 600 a month. So we were running two separate businesses, a riding program and an event venue, mainly weddings, and then COVID hit. And so we couldn't go to horse shows and we couldn't do riding lessons. So he said, you know what, let's convert this barn sooner than later. So we started with that. Mike West and his associates at STEM helped us design the building and remodel it. And we started to work and we finished it in fall of 21.
Okay.
So we have been doing anything from little corporate events to big corporate events and little weddings and big weddings.
Yeah. So they have, if you haven't been to Legacy, one, you need to go. There's always a fundraising event or some sort of event that you can get out there for. You don't have to be invited to a wedding to make it out there. But they have, like Margaret said, not one, but two incredible spaces. And I think it's so cool. I've been to many events there where there's literally events happening at both spaces, but you would never know that there's a whole nother event going on. It's insane.
Yeah, and we love that because we have two separate staffs and everything that work those events. And it's nice to have that large of a staff to be able to accommodate two events at one time.
Yeah. So our conference is going to be at that, what's the name of the first barn?
Forsyth Barn.
The Forsyth Barn.
Yes.
And both spaces are beautiful, but it's going to be so much fun.
Well, we're excited to have that there.
And the team at Legacy, that's one of the reasons I love it so much too, is y'all are just it's such a one-stop shop. Like, I feel like we don't really have to do anything. You guys are doing it all for us.
Well, Sandra Warren, that is actually our director of corporate and nonprofit, really strives to do a turnkey event, whether it be a nonprofit, especially a corporate event. So she takes care of AV and food and decor, whether it be photo booths, all those kind of things, cigar rolling, transportation. She does all that. So she helps you plan it and you just show up.
Yeah. And I know Adam does majority or all of y'all's catering. Is that right?
Yes, he does. He's our inclusive caterer. Adam Andrews that owns Young Cardinal, part of Jeffrey Adams, Twisted Pine.
Yep.
Dogwood Hops and Crops, and now he has Mercantile.
I know. Have you been up there yet?
I have. Steakhouse.
Is it good?
Oh, it's amazing.
Of course
and if you haven't gone, it is worth a 25-minute drive up 52.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on my list to go try that out. Have you been yet, Tim?
I have not, but Adam was on another podcast last week, and he says you need to come up. And when Adam tells you need to come up, it's not just because, hey, I need business. It's because you really need to try this.
Yeah, that's right.
Because Adam is just amazing.
That was a great choice for somebody to handle your food for your events.
Yeah, we love that. I've known Adam for 25 plus years, probably.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
When he was the chef at 4th Street.
Oh yeah. I think I've known him about since then too.
Yeah.
The 4th Street filling station days. Yeah. Well, so what are some events that are coming up at Legacy in the next few months?
Well, we have your wonderful event that's coming up. Also, we have in April, we have Selah's event, which is Pretty in Pink Foundation.
Oh, yes. I'm not going to be able to go this year. I'm really sad. But I've been every other year.
Yeah, I think
it's
this is
fabulous.
her 4th year being there,
Yes.
I believe. The Ronald McDonald House is having their event again this year, and this is their 2nd year with us.
I'll be there.
So, we do. I'm trying to think of what other nonprofit possibly that's coming up.
I'm looking at our calendar.
And those are both open to the public. So I know you guys, your website should have links to both of
They
those
are. And you
too.
can buy tickets to those. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what is your website? Remind me.
LegacyStablesandEvents.com.
Okay. So head to LegacyStablesandEvents.com if you want to check out the space. A great opportunity too to, one, support a nonprofit, but B, if you're kind of in the market for maybe a wedding or an event that you want to host, it's a great opportunity to kind of see the space in action.
Well, yeah, and the nice thing is the spaces are small enough. If you at the house, you can do it. We've got an event that's for 6 people on Friday, or if you need a space for 800.
Yeah.
And last week we did an event that Adam did the food, and we did a plated dinner for 465.
Oh, goodness.
A plated dinner for a gala. And so, we're real excited to be able to do that kind of food with Adam there and prepare that food on site.
Yeah. So you said 800.
Yes.
Have you had what's the largest wedding y'all have had?
800.
Oh my gosh. Was it a Greek wedding?
It was an Indian wedding.
Oh, no way.
Yes. And they were there for 4 days with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've been to one Indian wedding, Robin Brawley's daughter, and it was in Raleigh, and by far the most amazing wedding I've ever been to. Oh, yeah. So cool.
Yes, and we have four left to do this year.
I think so. Yeah.
4 Indian weddings?
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So how many, I'm sure y'all have tons of weddings booked throughout the year, but you can book, obviously, either barn. So do you still have openings at all in 2025 for
do.
weddings?
Limited, very limited on Saturdays, but
Most people are booking, I would say, at least a year out for a wedding.
Average is 9 months plus.
Oh, okay.
If it's a big wedding, but we do have some dates, especially on Fridays and Sundays. Which is a less price than on Saturdays. But we do have a few Saturdays left. And the nice thing is we can do 2 weddings at a time, but they're normally between an hour and a half apart.
Yeah.
And, Caitlynn, I lot of times I use myself as an example, but I'll use Caitlynn today as she had her wedding back in May last year. And it was down at the house on the patio. And we had another wedding, and you never known that there was another person. Another group had guests in the other building.
Yeah.
So that's the nice thing is whether you want a little modern chic, I guess, or a little bit of rustic charm, we kind of have both.
Well, and I feel like with both of those spaces, the decor that you can use for the space can really make it any style that you could ever want.
So true.
Yeah.
It is. And I think, we're a little different than some is all the drapery and all is all included. So it's not an upcharge. So all those things come
that's
as
nice.
you see it when you take
It is very much a package deal. I don't feel like that you guys have like all these little like add-ons that you have to feel like you have to add on. It's just all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the house.
Okay.
So is that where some like just smaller events happen?
Smaller events, but actually on the wedding day, if you rent the Grace Barn, then you get the house. So the bride gets that all day, so she can have a little brunch down at the house.
Yeah.
Has a 4-room bridal suite to get ready in. And then where the caretaker lived back when we had horses is now the groom's bunkhouse. So he has a pool table, foosball, a couple TVs to look at for the day.
Yeah.
So the house is used the day of a wedding, lots.
Okay.
And then we have some companies. We have a company out in Moxville that comes every month for 6 or 8 people to get away from their corporate setting. They want to be away where the phone doesn't ring, so they come once a month. But we do a lot of rehearsal dinners at the house too, because you have 2 outdoor kitchens, so you can grill yourself, or you have a fireplace, fire pit to do s'mores.
Ooh.
So there's lots of things down at the house, and it really is like an enchanted garden in the springtime.
Yeah.
Because you've got all these things that bloom.
Well, and that brings up a good point is you said people come to get away. I love, one of my favorite parts about Legacy is that you feel like you are so far out, but you are so close to Winston. It takes me 7 minutes to get to y'all from my house.
Right.
I'm not kidding. 7 minutes. But you feel like you are in the countryside.
Right.
It's wild.
Well, it is, and it took us 10 minutes to get here
Yeah.
to see you today.
Yeah,
so
it's perfect
lots of times,
location.
if you think, oh, it's way out there. Well, it's really 2 miles off of Interstate 40.
Yeah. That is so convenient because I have been to many a wedding in my day, and it's like some of the venues, they're gorgeous, but they are way out there, and the transportation is tricky, and especially if people have been drinking, so it's really convenient to have that location that is just right close to where Ubers can get to you.
Well, and that's what I was getting ready to say. Ubers do come.
Yeah.
Even at midnight. yeah, they do.
They're probably used to coming to Legacy.
They are. They
I
are.
love
We'll do
that.
right at 100 weddings this year.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes. Yeah.
That's amazing. And I know you guys had a bridal show in January.
We did.
Do you have any other bridal shows coming up, or is that a once a year
We
thing?
do it once a year.
Okay.
But we're probably looking at doing something late summer, early fall.
Okay.
Not quite sure what that's going to look like, but it's going to be probably more like a date night
Ooh.
with some food and drinks and maybe a band.
That's a good idea.
So we're thinking of doing something a little different late summer, early fall. So
I feel like that's a good way to get those grooms out there.
Yes.
Be like, we're going to feed you and give you drinks.
yes. So more information to come. That's kind of our new. We put it on the table to start talking about this week. So we think that's something that will happen this year.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So, Caitlynn, I have a question for you about wedding trends. What are you seeing as far as some just new wedding trends?
Well, everybody's into blue, sage green. Sage green, neutrals. It's pretty much what I hear almost every tour, like some variation of that, but for obvious reasons. My wedding was blue.
Yeah.
I can't deny how beautiful it is. I don't know, other wedding trends. Weddings are so cool because they're all different, but they're all also the same at the same time.
Yeah.
I probably learn even more about wedding trends on TikTok than I do from even my in-person tours.
Well, and I'm sure a lot of people that come on tours are looking to you for your, inspiration and ideas since you attend so many weddings and help with so many weddings.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
But, a lot of times I will say that the trends come and go, but there's a reason that classic wedding things are classic wedding things because they work so well.
Yeah.
And we can do all kinds of things to be as different as you want, but sometimes things are classic for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good advice. I like that.
Well, and what we really like at Legacy of a Wedding, we've got indoor space that feels like outdoor space, or even if you plan a wedding down at the house, there's always a backup rain plan already in-house by having multiple spaces. So you're not paying to put a tent up or go, oh, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
We already have that backup plan, and it's not an
Yes.
additional fee.
Because the stress is real, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have no control over the weather. So I'm sure for the brides, that is very calming to know that there's a plan B in place.
And your plan B looks like a plan A.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a
Nobody wants a
tent
plan
with
B
water.
that looks like a plan B.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
This was our second choice.
Yeah.
We didn't want
This is what we get.
yeah. So you got your nonprofit events coming up, and we talked about some weddings. I'm excited to hear more about the potential bridal show later on.
Yep.
Anything else going on that you want to talk about?
Well, we do a lot of corporate events or or celebrations sometimes at the end of the year. Also, the Chamber did their under 40 event with us this past year, and I think they're going to come back and do that again, is what I hear from this morning from Wake Up Winston. But, that's where we do a trade show for, we've got a company that's actually using our space to test some new products. So we that corporate side is very different as well. And the nice thing about that is you've got Monday through Friday, so you don't have just certain dates, a wedding, because a lot of times we do some Tuesdays or Thursday weddings, but most of them are Saturdays, some Fridays, some Sundays.
Yeah.
But, you've got a nice space there again. You've got outdoor space for team building. So Sandra's she's got some great partners to help do that, as well as some team building during the week. Same thing. We can do anything from a continental breakfast to a hot meal that Adam can do, to doing lunch with us from anything that's heavy and maybe doing steaks for dinner and a cocktail hour. So
Yeah,
some folks
yeah.
can stay
A
from
whole day.
all day
Yeah.
and stay from 7 to 7. So
I love it.
Yeah. So
I have to brag on you guys really quick. I actually helped. It's kind of a random story, but I helped with an event planner that did an event
Yes.
at Legacy back in October. And it was this big corporate team. They were all from all over, mostly like New York City, I think. And the event planners that I was working with, they were so impressed with you guys because they're like, wow, we just like don't even have to do anything. Like they're used to having to manage so many of the things that your team already handled. So
thank you.
I think that's wonders.
Well, thank you. I'm very fortunate to have the team that I have, and that's the reason we continue to have the growth. And the event that you were there, one of our other great inclusive partners was Party Reflections. So we had lots of soft seating and changed that whole
I've never
ballroom.
seen so much soft seating in
Yes.
one room.
But it was beautiful.
It was so cool, yeah.
But, I think that's a nice thing. Any corporate event or wedding, they are the same, but they can be very different depending on what the vision of the client is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys truly can work with anybody for any sort of event.
We hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our team does a great job. They really, really do.
Well, Margaret and Caitlynn, it was so much fun to talk with y'all, and I cannot wait for the conference in, T-minus 6 weeks?
Yeah.
I want to say real quick, Margaret. When the Ronald McDonald House had their event last time, we got into a conversation about Nutter Butters. and so she walks in, she goes, "Here, these are just for you." And because when I was a kid, and this was the story, my mother loved that I would say, "I want another Nutter Butter peanut butter sandwich cookie."
Yes. Yes.
I love it.
So she brought me some. And,
That is sweet.
That is
did.
nice.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah,
And I
I'm excited
loved
for
it.
that event too. That's May 1st.
May 1st.
Thursday, May 1st. So yeah, go to legacystablesandevents.com and you can buy tickets for and see all of their upcoming events. We hope to see you at the conference and the Pretty in Pink Foundation event in April, as well as the Ronald McDonald House in May.
Thank you for having us today. Brooke.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And as always, you can find Forsyth Mags online at forsythmags.com, and you can find us on social media at Forsyth Mags. And that is a wrap for today. The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Ooh, that's a mouthful.